Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Healing Talks. Hey, Diego. How's it going, everybody? Good to see you guys. Welcome to Healing Talks. I'm going to be going live in a moment with my brother Deva, Deva Presence, who is a Tantra teacher, Tantra yoga practitioner. And hey, Barbara, good to see you. ¿Cómo estás? And we're going to be going live with Deva in just a moment to talk all things Tantra and also a circle that he's putting on tomorrow with another facilitator in the community called the Inner Circle, where it's a co-ed men and women circle. So I'm really excited to learn more about Deva, get to hear his story, and then also talk about this inner circle that he's going to be co-facilitating tomorrow night at the Moon Temple. Welcome to everyone who's joining us so far. In the meantime, I want to just let you guys know that we still have some spots available for the State of Gratitude Retreat, which is coming up September 22nd through the 25th. If you guys are interested in coming to California with me and my friends from State of Gratitude, we'd love to have you there. And then on October 10th through the 15th, my brother Diego Yawari and I are going to be hosting a men's retreat in upstate New York in the Adirondack Mountains, which is going to be an epic 5-day journey with just men. We're going to be having ceremonies every single night, yoga, breath work in the morning, hikes, and a lot of other really cool activities that are going to be involved with that. If you guys want to learn more about the men's retreat, go on my link tree and click on that. It's called the Eagle and Condor Retreat. We'd love to tell you guys more about it for the men who are interested, and also for the women that have men in their life. If there's any women that are listening right now and you have any men in your life that you feel would benefit from a men's retreat, let them know. Let them know that we're doing a retreat October 10th through the 15th in upstate New York. It's just going to be men, and we're going to be working with our shadows. Like I said, we're going to be doing ceremonies pretty much every single night in order to shed some of those layers that are weighing us down, that are holding us back from showing up as the men that we're destined to be, and that our women are screaming for, and that our community really desires right now. So if you guys want to learn more about the Eagle and Condor Retreat, you can go on my link tree, click on that link, or you can just send me a message. I'd love to tell you more about it. And with that, we've got Deva, who just joined us. I'm going to let him in. Welcome, Deva.
All
Hey, Deva,
right.
what's going on, man?
Yeah. Live and well. Happy to be here, man. How you doing?
Good, brother, good. I was just giving you a little introduction, telling the people
Yeah.
about the inner circle going on tomorrow at the Moon Temple.
That's right.
And we have a tradition here on Healing Talks of getting to know the healer, which in this case is you. And I'm curious because I only met you a couple of
Mm.
weeks ago at a men's circle, and I fell in love with your presence, your charisma. You had a lot of beautiful things to share. I still remember the activity that we did. It's something that I don't think I'll ever forget. I know that you're also on a Netflix series called Too Hot to Handle, and you're a Tantra yoga teacher in addition to other things that you do. So just tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Bless us with your presence. Tell us how you got started, and then we'll go into what you're going to be up to tomorrow.
Grateful, grateful, grateful. Just got off a call with one of my I would call them friends, no longer clients. It doesn't feel that way. It feels like I'm with a friend, you know. I'm talking to this brother for the last 3 months now. We have a 3 month engagement and probably longer because he's really enjoying it a lot. And and it's it's whelming, let's say, of the heart to know that I have a place in this world to offer a space in which people can really see what's alive, deep, like deep within, not surface level, like really deep and alive on the inside. And and be willing to go there. Be willing to like go beyond where they normally go and see that it's okay to be human, to be alive in this body and embody it for real. Yeah. There's so many people out there who um, are living their lives, but not to the full potential that is absolutely possible. And there's always something new to learn and to wake up to. And sometimes those new learnings and waking up is actually a severing of what is no longer needs to be in the space or in, let's say, the space behind that is drawing forth certain things in our life that we don't want anymore. And sometimes it just takes like a loving brother like yourself, for example, that's there, that's going to hold space for that and show up in a loving way. And so that's kind of like how I feel my life is today, you know. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was like really focused on like doing something about life and saving the freaking world, and I'm going to save the world. And I became a permaculturist, and a permaculturist is somebody who like basically is a steward of the earth, you know, cultivating the earth and living sustainably and these kind of things. So I became that, and then I noticed that like I was still having a lot of challenges in in the interrelational spaces that I had. I loved working with nature and the earth and growing things and like and teaching and sharing about that. And I was traveling the world learning about that. And I also realized in that time, being mostly single most of those times, that I wasn't able to keep relationships at all. You know, as a matter of fact, I jumped out of those relationships as soon as something started that was even a little tussle. I was like, oh yeah, I'm out of here. Goodbye. I had no real like resilience and and willingness to stay in the fire and allow that to grow, to heal me, to e- eradicate this part of me that felt that I was unworthy of a depth of love, of a quality of love that is goes well beyond what we can honestly, what we can truly create in isolation, meaning in our by ourselves, single, alone. There's a certain quality to that that's beautiful. And I'm not, going against like celibacy or like one's sovereignty and being on their own. And so that's a yes to that. And there is something unique when you can actually be in the purifying fire of love. And so my site, Orgasmic Heart, is just that. It's all about learning ways in which we can deepen our intimate relationships and go beyond where we've gone before. And we can love our shortcomings and the shortcomings of others, seeing them not as shortcomings, but seeing them more as the very thing that is choosing to be loved now. The very thing that's choosing to be loved right now. How can I love this part as well as all the parts that I've been told is lovable and is not lovable? And by
Wow.
loving those parts, we love our parents. We love the people that exude that and that we've been suppressing inside of ourselves. And so the more we love these parts of ourselves, the more we can love the person that we are choosing to journey with. And so that's basically the nature of orgasmic heart. Yes, there's a lot of things around sexuality, of course. There's some people like myself that had a lot of, let's say, things around sexuality, performance anxiety, and like what that triggers in the system, but how that ripples into the rest of our life, right? And so I found that that was a core thing to meet and to really discover what can be renewed in myself, my life force energy, and how I can renew that and then utilize that beyond just the sexual activities, but into the things that I want to do with my life. And so right now, currently, I'm running a business while orchestrating classes and workshops, yes, but that's for me is like a hobby now. I'm like, I need to focus my attention on like building a business. So, I run a fruit nursery and I absolutely love it. And it takes dedication and time and energy and all these things that majority of people out there would never start a business, because of the sheer commitment behind it and the risk factors, and to put and to bring the courage that is available to oneself to really do what they want to do with their life. That's orgasmic heart. That's a heart warrior. That's somebody who's choosing and saying yes to themselves and living out their most greatest qualities that they can ever live out, ever. And so I'm here for that. I'm here to show up with people for that. I'm here to encourage and enrich that in others. And I know you are too. So thank you for bringing me on in this healing journey.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for the work that you do. I got to see a clip of Too Hot to Handle, which is one of the shows that you're a part of on Netflix. And you're working with the men in the show. And there's a portion where you have them write out all the things that are weighing them down, the things that are holding them back, those self-limiting beliefs. And then you actually have them go and like run up to this piece of paper and like spear it and jab it. Um, it's all ceremony at the end of the day, right? All of this stuff, the tantra, the intimacy, the visualization practices, the breath work, all of these exercises are there to help us connect to those deeper parts of ourselves, which I love how you reference the parts of ourselves that are wanting to be loved. I never looked at it like that before. Usually I call it the shadow, and now I'm going to change that to the parts of myself that really want to be loved, that really want to be seen, that I haven't shown love to.
Exactly. Don't never call it the shadow. I mean, you can
Never.
do what you want. I'm just saying, but I personally, that's not my motto. Like if I start saying this is shadow, I am literally denouncing, denying, putting aside, suppressing a part of myself. And I want to love all of me, you know? And it's amazing actually, where I can actually show up even in relationship and be like, yo, here's this side. This side is fucking intense and horrifying and scary, and I will kill someone. Like that is definitely a part of my existence. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to like pretend like somehow I'm just this like, all loving angel. Like, no, I have these parts as well. These parts are absolutely important. You better be able to bring that shit on. If somebody's attacking your love or your children, you better absolutely have access, real, rich, defining access that says, I can help. And your lover wants to see that in you as well. She may not want to see that part of you attacking her, obviously not. I understand that. But she wants to know that, hey, she's with somebody that can hold it down when it's necessary.
Yeah,
Yeah? You got
absolutely.
it. So yeah, not shadow. This is beautiful parts of us.
Yeah, and one other thing that you touched upon is, and I remember it from the men's circle that I met you at, where you talked about how you've been in monogamous relationships. I know that you're in one now because I remember you shared that with us. And then you've been in polyamorous relationships. And there was a big debate about polyamorous relationships and monogamous relationships. Whether to each his own. I also don't have any stand on that. If you can be in a polyamorous relationship, if you can hold space in that way, great. If you want to be a monogamous guy or a girl, that's great too. I don't have any qualms or any stances on any of that. But one thing that you did mention, and you just brought it up again, that I think is important for people to understand and to, I want to hear your feedback on it, is when it gets tough, when things get uncomfortable in the relationship, and you've noticed and you notice in yourself that there was a pattern where you would just leave the relationship. You're like, all right, I'm out. This is getting uncomfortable for me. I'm out. And you also said that in the men's circle, how when you were in a polyamorous relationship, it's because you weren't fully committing or fully giving your heart to that person that you were in a relation, that polyamorous relationship with. So there's this whole thing around like being casual, and how all of this sexual energy that we share with a person, it actually shows up in other areas of our life, like our businesses and other things that we do. Just touch a little bit upon that, and I'm mostly asking for myself because I see myself in you when you say how when things got difficult you would just kind of like peace out. I've definitely been that guy before in a relationship, and it's something that I'm definitely working on and working through. And looking back upon it, maybe I didn't have the tools or the energy or the space to hold my partner in that way, to be able to sustain that relationship past what it got to. So how do you do it with your partner, and what's been the most effective thing for you, and why do you feel like it's so important to stay and to commit to a relationship even when it gets tough?
Man. Oh man, like I tell you, it's so funny, like people see me and my partner and they're like, "Wow, you have such an awesome relationship. It's so beautiful. I mean, look how harmonious it is, and you're such a gorgeous couple together." And they say all these like beautiful things, and they have no idea like what's actually going on. We have serious things that come up in our relationship, and it happens like not all the time, obviously, but it does happen. I mean, recently there was something that was like full power that came up in our relationship, and it's remember I said like this fire to stay in, it builds resilience. And what I mean by it builds resilience is that you now after the flames have cleared, you now know with a no reason with a beyond any reasonable doubt that you can be with a certain level of intensity in your love life, and even in being able to apply that to your life with your friendships, your family, and your business. You can apply that now. Say, whoa, if I went through that, I can definitely go through these other things in my life. Those things are easy. Like taking on a business is like, oh yeah, I can do that. I can go through this fire in my relationship. I can be in the relationship fire with the biz and like actually stay and follow through, right? So I see it in that essence that we need to cultivate that quality. And the way that you cultivate that quality is by letting certain parts of yourself be seen by the other, and doing that in such a way that you are owning your projection. That is absolutely necessary. And then the second part is by maintaining solid boundaries, that you're not taking on the other person's projections and you're owning your own projections. That is absolutely important. It does create temporary conflict. Temporary, I promise you. Listen to my lips. I promise you, it's only temporary. It's not going to be forever. But when you say, hey, no, thank you to what you're saying about me, I'm not taking that on. No, thank you. You know, that is a projection. I'm not taking it on. No, thank you. And here's my projection, and I'm owning it. I own that I project that I see you in this way, that I see our relationship in this way. And I have a lot of fire inside around that because I'm choosing better. I'm choosing more for both of us. I'm choosing better for both of us for a love that is rich, that is defining the quality of my life because I wish to live a quality life with you. And here are the things that are eating me up inside, and I own that it's a projection. Because, honestly, I'd say 80% of the time it is actually a projection and it's absolutely not true. 80% of the time. And then another thing too about the projections, which is really important, and I talk about this a lot in my online course, The Heart Warrior, is that you got to understand what's coming up right now in the experience that you're having with that person. It is nothing to do with what's coming up right now, with this little story about you did this and or you did that. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with tension you have inside that you've created or that was given to you, which is more likely the case. Somebody gave you an ideology or a way of being or a way of understanding life and how it should be, right? And when they gave that to you, it's been instilled in you, and now something in life is coming up and it's creating a tussle, but it's not about that little fuss about you didn't do the dishes or you didn't do that or you said this to me or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with that tension of energy and and um and holding pattern that's embodied. That the body knows. The body knows better than the mind. The body knows like, hey, this is gonna turn into cancer later on. We need to fix that. And so it draws in the perfect situation to bring that to life, to bring situation to life to let you see, oh, I got this kind of like inside my chest. Because a lot of guys, for example, I work with a lot of men, I work with women too, but a lot of guys, they have their hearts are encapsulated and they're blocked. And so the body's like, hell no, you're not gonna block me. I'm gonna keep bringing everything in your life until you open your ass up. It's
Mhm.
gonna keep drawing shit in. And if you keep thinking, like, oh, it's about this nonsense and that about nonsense, what's happening right now has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with what is being suppressed. It has everything to do with that. And to focus our energy on that and not focus it on the scenario. Okay, a scenario is happening. It's okay to look at it, to talk at it, to be real, owning one's projections, but then move beyond that and say, oh, okay, beyond this, there is a limiting belief that I have. There's a limiting belief. We recently found two like solid limiting beliefs after several years now being together of like fuss and fight and intensity and coming out of intensity, intensity, coming out of intensity. It took a while, actually, It's a solid 2 years now. And then I finally found like, whoa, I have a solid limiting belief. She has a solid limiting belief. And this is what is churning our arguments and our challenges. So let me cleanse myself and bring to life, bring to the forefront, not in the background where it's causing challenges and fuss, bring it to the forefront so that we can see it and say, hey, I want to love this part of me and allow you to see me. Here's my limiting belief. You wear it, as a cloak and say, yes. Da, 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 limiting belief man. You fly around in that and let people see you so that you have the opportunity to love it and then let it dissolve on its own and no longer rule your life because that is what relationships are so powerful and why you need to stay and be in them and show up and say yes to it every time. So long as you have a full yes to your partner, there's no reason to go. There's no reason to go. Even when they're going crazy and acting nuts and, the man is going nuts, the woman's going nuts, stand your ground. Say, hey, I love you. I'm here. I have serious projections right now. I have a lot of fire, but I'm here. I am staying, right? And no thank you to this, no thank you to that. You stand your freaking ground. If anyone's going to go, they're going. They're making that choice, but you don't make that choice. You stay and say, yeah, here I am. You're going to love this. Yeah, I'm working on myself. I'm seeing my stuff. I'm going to really grow through that, and I'm here. Love me. And it's amazing, amazing what happens when that person loves you for you, even though you have these things coming up, even though you have these faults, and then you see true love. Then you really feel it. That's when you really feel it. Oh, wow. I'm a serious asshole, and she's still here. Like, how is that possible? Like that part. When you get there, you're like, damn, okay, that's what this is all about. That's why I'm gonna stay.
So I want to talk a little bit about, because in that clip that I saw of you on the show, I saw that you were working with just men, and you mentioned that you work mostly with men. I'm doing a men's retreat in October, and since last year, I felt deeply called to start doing more men's work. I see the need for it. I do a lot of ceremonies, and I mostly see women showing up at the ceremonies. And lately, actually, in the last couple of months, I've been noticing a lot of men. In fact, I was at a Temascal this weekend, and we had 7 men and 7 women. It was balanced. It was even, and that was a big surprise. I was happily surprised to see that. So let's talk about the men. You said the men have their hearts calcified. How important is it for men to go off on their own to do their own inner healing? And then how important is it for them to do it in community? And should they do it with other men exclusively, or should they do it with women, or should they do it with both? Because I know you're doing the inner council circle tomorrow, and I want to know a little bit about the inspiration behind that, because mostly we see just men's circles or just women's circles. That this is a combination of the two. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about healing on your own, healing in community with just other men, with just other women, and then coming together and the importance of it all.
Yes. Yes, thank you so much for bringing that forward. And thank you for going forward with working with men, doing men's groups, doing men's retreats. Grateful for you, grateful for your willingness and to really support men in this way. It is absolutely necessary. And yes, I'm also noticing that more men are showing up in classes. And for a year, I've been teaching 15 years, and I'm telling you, 15 years, majority women, always, hands down. It's only now I'm starting to be like, oh, wait a second, we had more guys than women. That's very unusual, and I'm grateful to see that the men are now showing up. So thank you. And yes, when I first had an experience where we had a men's group and there were women there was about 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And it was so profound, actually. It amplified the men's group experience to a degree that I didn't realize was there, actually, was even possible. Where having the women solely in the time frame of men sharing witness some serious vulnerable aspects and qualities to the men that they would really only share with other men, honestly. Like it's almost like letting them in a bit more into the vulnerable realms of the heart that's normally only discussed with men.
Mm,
And there was something about that cracked open the hearts of the women and that was nourishing to the hearts of the men to like truly be tuned in rather than tuned out. I know a lot of guys are quite used to feeling that energy. I'm getting tuned out, but be tuned in and to receive the welling heart of love from the women. And these are like women that were not even in relationship to them, they were just there in this ceremony and we were there. And I asked very poignant questions, of course, and it just drew out like tears and love and come and like connection between the men in a way that was just like wow, just absolutely beautiful. And so, yeah, is it important? Yes. One reason why it's important for men to come into this men's groups only is so that we can take down the walls between men. That's essential, right? We're not in competition with guys. And when you start being just with men only in this particular way, it's very powerful. It's very powerful to realize like, oh, okay, he's here with me. I'm here with him, and we're going through the same things. And to relate and to resonate on that and to like to be loving, not to be macho, like, yeah, man, what's up, man? Pop, pop, pop. You're hitting fists and like, acting rough. No, to soften with another guy and hold him and let yourself be held like you've always wanted to be held by your father or by, some a man that is willing to to love to the depths that you find in war, for example. A lot of guys don't realize, especially with guys that have gone to war or have been in the army or whatever, they see that there's a certain quality to the commitment of brotherhood that is there. And it doesn't have to be through rough and toughness. Like that can go away. That's unnecessary. That can be, not always, but that can be like actually another limiting factor to the quality of the connection that you can have with a brother. Yeah, and the other limiting factor, but I think it's starting to fade more and more, is this idea that somehow, you know, it it makes you less manly, or it makes you somebody that's like interested in men, relationally. That's not true, right? You can soften, you can hold a friend, you can let yourself be held, and it has nothing to do with anything sexual. Like that also is like a limiting factor that can be dissolved. And of course, women's groups, we see the beauty and like red tents and then with like women coming together and like holding ceremony and like being with each other. I actually ran a women's retreat once. It was all women. It was me and another woman. I was the only guy there, and it was unbelievable. It was super profound to have stepped into that. And so that's what this inner circle does as well. It allows women to step into the quality of what is held in a men's group. And in the end, we'll do an actual ceremony and ritual to interconnect everybody so that men can also give back, and women can give and so forth. So it's going to be very, very beautiful. And yeah, highly important to heal the separation of the sexes. That we are not opposite sex, we are harmonious sex, right? We're not somehow opposing um, instruments of humanity, but we're actually connected. And to commune in this way is very important.
It's beautiful, man. Thank you for sharing that, for giving us that perspective. I want to know more about this circle that you're holding tomorrow at the Moon Temple. Tell us a little bit about the inspiration behind it and what it's going to entail.
Okay, yeah, Moon Temple in El Portal, so quite central Miami, is a beautiful crystal shop. They hold workshops regularly there. And myself and Gina Moon, she and I have both been through this experience. We humbly say that this is something that humbled us in this process of being a part of it, and chose to come together and give it as an offering to people here in South Florida. There's a limited space, and so because it's not a big space, it's a limited space. So be sure to certainly connect with me or her, and come and experience the power that we have to open our hearts deeper than you have yet to experience when it comes to opening to humanity, when it comes to um, healing naturally, because the healing is there when you open your hearts. And when that happens, there's a certain level of resting in one's being and then choosing to participate more, less about the actions of life and like what do I need to do to accomplish this or accomplish that, and a lot more of like, wow, it's already fulfilling enough to just love and be loved, to be seen in my humanness, and to value that
Mm.
in itself, and to let that tear you wide open and become the springing well of love for others as well in that process. So I invite you to that kind of space so that we can, raise the collective consciousness of humanity and be a stronger community here in Miami as well. I'm very grateful to come back. I've been gone for many years, and like see like what's been happening, and to continue to really, be that glue that really holds us in a way that's beyond just like, hey, let's come and hang out and let's like do these events, but more like, hey, I'm connected to you and I care about you. I care about your well-being. I care about what's going on in your life. I care about whether you're going through something or not. I care about, you know, to really take that next step of like genuine friendships where we hang, we go out, we go bowling, or we go to a party together. We throw a little like a dinner at our house and say, hey, come on over. Like I would love to see a lot more of that, and I hope that this gives that closeness to create those kind of things.
So bringing people together is definitely one of the intentions of tomorrow's circle.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be a moment where the men are going to get to share, the men are going to get to open up their hearts. I'm being told. Is this true?
You got it.
I'll be
Absolutely.
guys, so that's why I'm wondering. I'm asking all these questions a little bit for myself too.
Yeah, I'm glad you're coming. Yes. I'm going to be sending out tonight. Actually, you look out for an email. I'm going to send out tonight some of these really pressing questions so you have a little time to really, marinate on it and like see what you want to bring to the space.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it, and I've already been telling my friends about it. I'm really excited to be there with you tomorrow night. Are there any things that you want to say in closing? Anything that you want to share with the people who've joined us so far? Anything you feel called to share before we go?
Yeah, please visit orgasmicheart.com. This is my site. I have some free videos. I have a free e-course that's on there that goes into a lot more. We didn't really talk much about this, but it was a lot more about how to build the intimate relationship, particularly around sexuality and particularly around communication. to where you can really communicate with a depth that is like, that is so enriching and so enlivening and so freeing, where there's no longer this restriction to communicate. You can literally go crazy and they can hold space for that and be like, yes, yes, I can see you're, acting nuts right now and I love you. You're a real, you're a real jerk off. You're a real, bitch and I love you, because you allow the space for that when there's non-projection and there's an offering of like a humility, rather than a righteousness, a humility to this existence that we call life. And so so please do check it out, orgasmicheart.com, and then see what's to your liking. And certainly, yeah, I'll have more events coming up, so we'll stay in touch on that too. But thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, brother, and thank you. If I would have had access to your content a couple months ago, things would have been different, and I have no regrets about how my life has gone. And I'm saying this because I get flashbacks to relationships that I've had in the past where I wasn't able to hold that space for my partner, and I was just almost just off put by them or worried or scared. And like we said earlier, I just ended up throwing up the peace sign and I'm out. And the fact that you're creating you created, of course, a video that shows people how to communicate and how to hold space for each other when they're not showing up in their best is incredible, and to love those parts of other people that get to be loved in that moment, that want to come out, that want to express themselves even when it's not the most ideal energy or the most ideal behavior, or the maybe not the easiest to navigate. I think that would save so many heartaches. I would save so many arguments. I would save so much energy in relationships. um, what is in and this is my last question. What is the goal behind all this, man? What is your why have you dedicated your time, your energy, your money into this? Does this come from something in your childhood, or does this come from I know you mentioned you had a really profound experience at one of the tantra retreats that you went to, where you literally had an outer body experience. So you've definitely felt some amazing things and you've had incredible experiences in your lifetime. Why do you keep coming back to this? Why do you keep investing your time and your energy into this? What is your why behind all of this?
I've already met the desire for death several times in my life. I've already met that, tried to commit suicide, sliced up my wrists, in high school and was looking for like a gun to blow my head off. I've already been to that extent where it's like, you know, where I got to that place where it was like, if I'm going to live life, it better have some freaking meaning. It better have some fullness to it, some richness to it. I'm not gonna live this mediocre life and blow my head off, man, and be goodbye, and you can leave that to everybody else. I've already met that place, you know? So having met that place, I'm feeling very grateful for it actually, because I can directly relate to people who've gone through that directly. So when I do my coaching, for example, I'm ready for anything. I can directly relate. Be like, yeah, man, I was there too, ready to blow my fucking head off. It's definitely there. All good. Let's talk. I know exactly how that feels, right? So going there and to going to a place where it's like, I worked one job one time full time. I did it for a year. And I said I would rather live on the street first. I would enjoy the street before I do that again. I'd much rather live on the street. I have a very intense, people when they meet me they say, "Well, this guy's intense." I have a very intense um feeling and way of being about life. I'm not here to joke around and just be like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna live like half-ass." Hell no. I want to live to the fullest. If as I my gift is life. I was given the gift of life. I'm here and I'm here for a very temporary time. And there's no way around that. I'm here for a temporary time period. So what am I doing with my life? I'm going to live it to the fullest now. And I learned especially when I learned about human design, I'm a projector, which means I'm here to guide. Absolutely. And I get my energy from guiding. Unlike most of the people out there who have their own energy within, I get it through guiding. And so when I guide, when I give of myself in service in this way, it enriches me tremendously. And so I have a huge passion to do this, particularly around things in my life that is what's kept me alive. You see what I'm saying? What kept me alive was like realizing the passion that I have for helping others, for enriching my relationships, for doing only what I want to do with my life, not working somewhere because it pays well and like, trying to step up slowly in the ranks and become a manager one day and dealing with bullshit that I would never want to deal with and live that kind of impoverished inner impoverished lifestyle while you have like a little, fun to like run around in a Benz. I was a hell no to that, and I will forever be a hell no to that. I would live on the street first and enjoy that. Somehow I'm not on the street. Somehow I'm still doing great. I don't know how. Somehow I'm doing great. But but I have that level of intensity in my life, and that's what's really passionately pushed me forward and continues to push me forward each and every day. I wake up, I give thanks every single day, you know, and I'm constantly on that ring of like, am I choosing today, like how to live in a way that is really allowing me to thrive so I can give of myself to others every single day. That's my choice, and that's my passion.
To live a more fully passionate life, a rich life. That's your why, and to help guide people into how to live their life in a more rich way, to have more passionate relationships, to really do what they love every single day, to really be grateful for their life, so they don't have to get to that point where like my life is this. I don't know why I'm even here on this planet.
Definitely. Most relationships out there are compromise. They are living a compromised lifestyle. They're either unhappy or they're just like, well, this is just the way it is. Like, a big majority of marriages, for example, they're sexless. They're sexless marriages. They might they might do a little something like once, every few months or something, or maybe once a year for the anniversary. Oh, okay, now it's time to kind of do this thing. I'm a hell no to that. And I'm a hell yes to helping me people move beyond that. I'm a hell yes to that. Get it?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for everything that you do. I am so thrilled to continue to get to know you as a brother, as a facilitator, as another person here in our community, in our spiritual community here in Miami. Really appreciate the work that you're up to. For those of you who've watched so far and you've never met Deva before, we're going to be at the Moon Temple tomorrow night starting at 7 p.m., right?
Yes.
And it's called the Inner Council, right? The Circle.
Inner circle. Inner circle.
The Inner Circle. It's the Inner Circle, and it's going to be can we say it's a men and women's joint circle? Can we call it
Correct.
that?
Correct.
Okay. So it'll be a circle for both men and women to witness themselves in their most vulnerable states and to connect with themselves and with each other and to continue to grow and build and to flourish this beautiful community that we have here in Miami.
You got it.
Thank you so much. And I'll be there. I'll be one of those guys there. So if anyone who's watching this would like to join, I think there's still a few spots left, right?
There's a few. Yes, we can still let in a couple more, but we gotta then close it up.
All right.
So
Um,
definitely join.
will they be able to find that on your page? Do you have a link tree on your homepage where they can click and find that?
Go to Moon Temple. I gotta fix my link tree. I haven't set it up yet. But yeah, please join Gina Moon. I'll probably maybe put her in the comments, Moon Temple or Gina Moon.
Moon Temple, everybody. Check out Moon Temple. David's gonna be typing that up right now. And I've been to the space. It's beautiful, and like he said, it's a very small, intimate space. So there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. If you're coming tomorrow, come to be seen, come to be heard, come to be felt, come to be in community. We're gonna have a great time. I can feel it, man. Thank you again
Yeah.
for your presence, brother, and hope you have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow night.
All right. I'll see you tomorrow night. Lots of love to you all. Thank you so much for having me.
Much love, brother. Peace.
All right, peace.